Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Longbox Chronicles Month here on Reaction and Review. Tonight, guys, I'm taking a look at a film based on a Marvel Comics property from 2005. That movie is Man-Thing. Now, I can tell you guys right off the bat, I know almost nothing about the Man-Thing character. In fact, I can tell you for a solid fact, I've never read a single Man-Thing comic book in my entire life. So I have no idea what I am getting myself into here. And also, I don't know if this movie, even after I'm done watching this, I'm not going to have a clue if this movie is in any way loyal to the source. The one thing I can tell you is that, at least in the U.S., because I believe this thing did have a theatrical run overseas, but over here in the U.S., this thing was relegated to Sci-Fi Channel original movie status. And anyone who knows the history of Sci-Fi Channel movies, most of them absolutely suck. Now, this thing could be one of those very rare exceptions, and I'm kind of hoping that it is. I would really like to see if this thing is going to be any good. And the only way I'm going to find out if it is if I shut up and I push play, and I'm going to do that right now. So, without further ado, it's time to kick back, relax, and check out Man-Thing. You know, guys, I'd just kind of like to say this right now. I find it very difficult to take a coroner seriously when he's wearing a fucking Hawaiian shirt. I don't know why. It just seems incredibly out of place to me. You know, guys, I totally understand that it is incredibly early in the movie, but so far I really haven't found a reason to care about anything which is going on here. Perhaps maybe if this film were telling its story a little bit better, I could probably feel the need to give a shit, but so far the movie really hasn't given me a reason to do so yet. I just kind of wanted to share that with you. Thank fucking God. Now we can mark off 2 more absolutely boring, shallow, lifeless, personality-free characters off. Now we just need to see if the rest of the cast will kick off, and maybe then this movie will have something good going for it. Somehow I don't think the entire cast is going to die before this movie's done, though. Just call it a hunch. So let me see if I get this completely straight here. The Man-Thing is literally just some half-assed Native American curse? Really? That's the best you fuckers could come up with? My God, that just feels horrible. And mind you, it really, guys, doesn't just feel horrible because I myself am Native American, but that guy's just lazy fucking writing. Good fucking God. Well, guys, it took the movie an hour and 10 minutes, but we finally get to see what the Man-Thing looks like. And it looks okay. I swear to God, guys, like, everything else in this movie's been absolute shit, but the Man-Thing looks sort of cool. I actually find that kind of shocking that this thing looks this decent when the rest of the movie sucks this much, you know? Okay, you know what? As absolutely shitty as this movie has been, that is probably the coolest kill I've seen in a long fucking time. That was absolutely creative as hell. And that's probably going to be about the only positive I'm going to really give this movie when all is said and done. Thank fucking God it's done. Dear God. Alright. Alright. Well, guys, that was Man-Thing, and, Jesus fuck. Where the hell do I even want to start? Okay. Let's get the few positives out of the way first. The Man-Thing looked pretty cool. He did. And I have seen a couple of images of Man-Thing as he's seen in the comics, or as it's seen in the comics, and it looks sort of close. I mean, it doesn't look perfect, but it looks close enough where I'd be willing to believe that it is, in fact, the fucking Man-Thing, okay? So we have that. And one of the final kills in the film, which is done by the Man-Thing, is incredibly creative, looks really good. Granted, it has a little bit, it has a little bit of CG, which looks sort of off, but I'm willing to let it slide simply on the sheer creativity of the kill. So I'm going to let that one slide. Were there any other positives? The actor who played the sheriff, I guess, wasn't too bad, but that's because he's the only guy in the film that wasn't forced to put on an incredibly forced southern fucking accent, and comes off as the least irritating out of everybody as a fucking result. I think that's the only reason why I'm giving him a pass. The sound mix was competent. The camera work was okay. That's it. Oh shit, yeah, guys, it's really sad when the best I can come up with is your costume looks pretty cool. One fucking kill out of a total of like 7 was pretty good, and the acting on one actor was passable because he doesn't have a fucking accent. Alright, let's start with the writing. Before I get into the story itself, I want to talk to you guys for a second. Because as a Native American, a whole lot of things in this movie absolutely offended me and just pissed me off, and I kind of want to explain why. First of all, we have 2 characters in the film who are, in fact, Native American. One of them thought that it'd be a good idea for his tribe to sell their land so that way the tribe would get more money. Now, I don't know a single fucking tribe in the country that will sell what little land they have. Most tribes are trying to rebuy all of their previous land and then build on it. Build housing, build hotels, build casinos if their states allow it. Build something, build anything. You want your land. So where the fuck is this pinheaded shitweasel coming up with the idea that he's going to sell swampland, which is probably the most worthless land you can sell, so that way your tribe, which as far as I know is made up of exactly 2 fucking people, is going to get more money. And the other one didn't even want to really sell. So really, you're just making money for yourself, you greedy shitbird. Oh my god. So we have that. As for the other one, the one who actually who went and sort of called on the Man-Thing native swamp spirit, he has this altar, and he's mixing faiths with this altar, because we have dream catchers. Okay, that makes total sense if you're doing some kind of pseudo Native American looking thing. We have crystals. All right, that's a little off, but I'm going to totally allow that to fly. And then we have a big white marble crucifix in the fucking middle. Now we've gone off the fucking rails. Christianity and Native American spiritualism do not fit together. That guy's is literally trying to jam a it's trying to jam a square peg into a round fucking hole. It doesn't fucking work. Whatever half-fucking drunk retard decided to build that goddamn set should have looked at that thing and said, you know, something here looks sort of off, and then thrown the fucking crucifix out. But no, because this film's too fucking stupid to do that. Now, mind you, all of that has to do with, set design and a little bit on writing, and just simply the fact that the Man-Thing is a Native American swamp spirit that's willing to kill anything which goes into the swamp, instead of just killing those who are threatening. Well, no, because they aren't even threatening them, because they are polluting land which they own, which your tribe sold to them. The spirit has no reason to be there. It lacks any and all logic at all. Plus, I don't know any Native American tribes that can summon murderous spirits. Just saying, that one there's way off fucking base. Now, let's talk about the actual writing. Let's talk about the story. Well, I think I've covered most of the fucking story. We have an evil oil company, so evil that their fucking logo looks very similar to a fucking swastika, and their name sounds kind of German. Yes, guys, this film has less fucking subtlety than an episode of Captain Planet. Let's just move on from that. They bought Native American swamplands so that way they could drill for oil, and because they were polluting the land which they just bought, one of the few remaining members of this tribe decides to summon forth a murderous native swamp spirit who's going to kill anything which goes within the swamp. It doesn't make any goddamn sense. Oh yes, and we have a sheriff who is new, and of course, since this is in the Deep South, he's had to be a city boy, so that way he's even more of an outsider. And he's just sort of thrust into things, and he's sort of picking up all of this shit about the spirit and about how the entire town is fucking corrupt as he goes. And literally, guys, that is it for, character personality. Is we have essentially a shaman who called forth the swamp spirit. We have the other member of the, tribe who essentially now has become a terrorist and is trying to bomb the oil rigs. We have the entire town who is completely corrupt and is in the back pocket of the owner of the oil company, and then we have the city boy sheriff. That's it for personality. I wish I was fucking kidding, but that's it for personality. There isn't a single character here who you are going to fucking care about in any way, shape, or form, and every single time one of them fucking dies, you sit there and go, thank fuck, who's next? And sadly, there are still plenty of people alive and breathing by the time the movie's done. Oh boy. So, yeah, guys, writing here is absolutely terrible because, well, again, we have no character depth. We have no reason to give a flying fuck about a single one of these characters. We have no reason to care if the fucking, oil company is still here or not. We have no reason to care if the Native American terrorist is able to bomb the oil rigs. We don't have any reason to care if Man-Thing actually kills people who aren't just innocent victims inside of the swamp. Part of that is because a fair chunk of this movie is basically just retards in the same, what looks to be about 150 square feet of swamp, and I'm being real generous with that, walking around with some combination of guns and flashlights calling out to other people, and that's it. That is most of your fucking movie. You're just people walking around, a gun in one hand and a flashlight in the other, walking around, Billy! Where are you, Billy? Repeat that shit for 93 minutes, and you've got Man-Thing. Minus the about 15 minutes or so, and again, I'm being incredibly generous on that, where it's set in either, let's see, a guardhouse, or the coroner's office, or the sheriff's office, or in a fucking diner. So yeah, everything is set in this goddamn swamp, and they couldn't even be asked to make it a big swamp. The whole thing, while I'm on the subject of filming, I might as well talk about this. Every single time that they are in the swamp and anyone has their voice raised to any fucking, noticeable, volume, you can hear it bouncing off of the metal walls of the set they were filming in. Because, guys, I'm going to tell you right now, if you've ever been out in the woods, or if you've ever been out in a fucking swamp, and you've yelled out, your voice does not echo like that. Why? Because there's not enough solid shit for your voice to bounce off of. Wood is not a good conductor for a fucking echo. So if you're in the middle of a swamp and the only thing around you are fucking trees, your voice is not going to echo that loudly. So yeah, they couldn't even be asked to film in a big enough set, or perhaps maybe in an actual fucking swamp, to try to get rid of any kind of noticeable echo. And instead of doing that, they filmed in an incredibly small studio, and it makes the entire thing sound incredibly fucking cheap. Oh, Jesus God. Okay. So yes, guys, the writing here is absolute shit, and the sets are so fucking poor that the echo kills everything. Well, the acting. Hoo boy. First of all, because it's set in the Deep South, every single character minus the sheriff and the coroner all have a southern accent. And most of it sounds so goddamn forced that it will pull you right out of the film. Guys, I'm going to tell you right now, unless you were natively born in the Deep South, you cannot do a passable Southern accent without it sounding incredibly fake. So what do they do? They get a whole lot of people who don't have a natural Southern accent, cast them all, and have them force a Southern accent and make the whole thing sound like a pile of garbage. So yes, casting here would have been a hell of a lot better if they would have cast in Dixie instead of in Midtown. So yeah, good God. So yeah, guys, the acting here sucks simply because everybody is forced to put on a fucking accent that you cannot do without it sounding stupid. Unless, of course, again, you were naturally born with it, then it at least sounds sort of natural. And even then beyond that, the acting is shit because nobody here is trying to make us care. Nobody here is trying to make us care about their characters, about the story. So they phone in every single line of dialogue, which then makes everything even worse. Let's see. Well, camera work was okay. The Man-Thing costume looked pretty good until you ask, until the fucker tries to move its fingers. Allow me to explain, guys. First of all, this here's a massive costume, and it rarely ever moves. In fact, the most movement you ever see outside of it, maybe like making like fists, because it can't just do like individual fingers, is right towards the end. It brings out its arms. That's it. I am almost convinced that the fucking thing was probably just some gigantic fucking, like, animatronic thing, because really it didn't have to do a whole lot of movement. And when it had to do big sweeping movements, you could tell everything was done with CG at that point. Granted, it looked, pretty good, and plus also the things like covered in all these various, like tendrils and shit, and all of that's obviously done with CG as well. So really it only looks terrible when you're working with either the big bulky costume or the big, or the big fucking animatron, whichever one they went with. I can't totally tell. And frankly, at this point, I really don't fucking care either, okay? Let's just be totally frank there. Special effects otherwise are kind of sort of a mix. No, well, actually, no. Special effects otherwise range from corpses, which look really cool because they've got fucking, like trees or roots or vines or other various things like growing out of them, and it looks sort of cool. Or it's CG, which either looks sort of cool, such as Man-Thing, or looks like shit, such as the final kill in the movie. I really don't want to spoil it for those of you who might actually want to sit through this thing. Let's see. Ultimately, when all is said and done, can I recommend Man-Thing? No. There's no way in hell I can recommend this. Guys, this movie is bad in ways I didn't even think a movie could be bad. Mind you, a lot of that is probably because I am a Native American, and the writers of this horrible thing, or correction, writer, it is, only one, decided to take a massive shit on Native American culture with about half of this movie's dialogue, so perhaps maybe I'm just a little bit biased. But even then, if I were to strip away all of the fucking Native American bullshit which is in this thing, even then the movie is absolute garbage. I cannot recommend this to anybody for any reason. If you guys want to see a movie which features a comic book character which is set in a swamp and is somewhat watchable, go watch either one of the Swamp Thing movies, okay? The first one is pretty good, second one kind of sucks, but it's still infinitely better than this fucking thing. So yeah, guys, if you really want to see something like this, but, good, go watch Swamp Thing. Oh my god, this was bad. In fact, I'm probably going to go and try to find a copy of Swamp Thing right now. I really need to watch something good. And this thing just, oh my god, fuck this movie. This is probably the worst movie Marvel Comics has ever made. I swear to God, guys. Now, mind you, I am counting in stuff such as Daredevil, which, well, Daredevil to me wasn't, too bad. But I know a lot of people despise it. Daredevil, the Fantastic Four movies, any of them. All the other previous Marvel films, all of them look like absolute fucking gold compared to Man-Thing. So, holy shit. Yeah, guys, we have found the bottom of the Marvel Comics movie barrel, and I never thought I'd find the bottom, the fucking bottom of that barrel, but what do you know? It kind of stumbled right into my fucking lap, and I kind of wish that it hadn't. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna go try to find a copy of Swamp Thing, and if I'm lucky, it'll be on fucking Netflix. I can go watch it right now. So yes, guys, with that, we come to the close of another reaction and review. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, take care, and I will see you all in the near future. Peace.